AITA for kicking my brother and his new wife out of my house after they tried to redecorate my dead daughter's room while I was at work. So, this is still pretty fresh, and I'm absolutely fuming. For context, I, 38F, lost my daughter 2 years ago in a car accident. She was only 14, and ever since that day, I've kept her room exactly as she left it. I don't go in there often, but just knowing that it's there, untouched, brings me comfort. It's like having a piece of her still with me. Her posters, her art supplies, her clothes, all of it is still there. I can't bring myself to change it. Now, fast forward to a few months ago, my brother, 34M, and his new wife, 29F, had some financial issues after blowing a ton of money on a ridiculous, extravagant wedding. They asked if they could stay with me while they saved up for a place. Even though I wasn't thrilled about it, I agreed because, well, family, right? At first, things were fine until recently. I noticed my sister-in-law making comments about how I shouldn't keep a shrine and how it's time to move on. I ignored her because frankly, it's none of her damn business how I grieve my child. My brother mostly stayed quiet, but I could tell she was getting into his ear. Anyway, I came home from work last week to a literal nightmare. I walked into my daughter's room, and I kid you not, they had taken down all her posters, boxed up her stuff, and had started repainting the walls a hideous beige. They had moved in a bunch of generic furniture, hung up new curtains, and were apparently turning it into a guest room. I lost it, screaming, crying, the whole thing. I asked them what the hell they were thinking, and their response. My SIL had the nerve to tell me they did it as a favor to help me move on because it was unhealthy for me to keep the room as it was. I was shaking with rage. I told them to pack their stuff and get the hell out of my house immediately. My brother tried to calm me down, saying they meant well and were only trying to help me let go. He even tried to make me feel guilty by saying they had nowhere else to go right now, as if that would make me suddenly forgive them for destroying the last piece of my daughter I had left. I told them I didn't care and that they had crossed an unforgivable line. Now, my whole family is divided. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my coworkers take over the fish tank my employer allows me to keep in the office? So, buckle up folks. This is rather intriguing. I've been allowed by my employer to keep a small aquarium at my desk, which is something I'm really passionate about. I'm a bit of a fish enthusiast and enjoy maintaining the tank, ensuring the fish are happy and the environment is balanced. It's a small, peaceful hobby that brightens my workday and has become a conversation starter in the office. Recently, a few of my coworkers came up with the idea of turning my tank into a sort of office fish project. They want to add new fish to the tank and have everyone vote on which species we should get. Their suggestions range from goldfish to guppies and even more exotic ones like cichlids, which is clearly impractical for a tank of this size. They think it's a fun, team-building exercise and that we could all pitch in for the maintenance. Here's the problem, this tank is mine. It's allowed by the company specifically for me to manage, and I've put a lot of care into creating a balanced, healthy environment for the fish I already have. Most of the species they're suggesting don't belong together or require different care than what I've set up. For example, goldfish are cold water fish, while my current tank is tropical. Plus, the idea that everyone in the office would help take care of it is unrealistic. Maintaining a tank properly requires more knowledge than just throwing some food in once a day. I've explained my concerns, but they're brushing it off, saying I'm being overly protective and that I'm taking this too seriously. They think it's just a fun little project, but it's more than that to me. This is my personal hobby, approved by the employer, and I don't want the stress of managing a chaotic tank or dealing with dead fish because someone thought a betta and a guppy could live together. Now, the office seems split. Some people are on my side, understanding that it's my personal tank, while others think I'm being selfish for not letting them turn it into a communal thing. They keep saying I'm not being a good team player. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my coworkers turn my personal, employer-approved fish tank into their office-wide project? Am I the asshole for telling my wife I'm done with her emergency calls and leaving her stranded? I, 32M, have been married to my wife, 29F, for 4 years, and we have a 3-year-old son. She's not a bad person, but she's constantly in a state of chaos, and every little thing becomes my problem. No exaggeration, I get these emergency calls multiple times a week. Flat tire. Call me at work. Forgot her wallet. Call me. Grocery store out of her favorite oat milk. Blow up my phone like the world's ending, it's relentless. I work full-time and do my fair share at home with our son, diaper duty, bedtime stories, cooking, cleaning, you name it. But these crises are killing me. I've told her before that unless it's a real emergency, like someone bleeding or stuck on a highway at night, she needs to figure it out. I don't have the bandwidth to drop everything constantly. The last straw came 2 days ago. I had to take my son to the doctor because he had an ear infection, and I was already running on fumes. While I'm in the waiting room with a fussy toddler, she calls me in a panic because she locked herself out of her car in front of a Target 5 minutes from home. I told her, I can't leave. You'll have to call someone to pop the window. She freaked out, saying that would cost too much, she didn't bring enough cash, and I was being unreasonable. I stayed firm, said she needed to figure it out, and hung up. When I got home later, she was furious. She said the guy charged her $150, and I should have come to help because she didn't think to grab her wallet. I told her, point blank, I'm done rescuing you from things you can easily handle. You need to stop acting like everything is a disaster. Now she's barely speaking to me, acting like I'm the villain for not dropping everything for her again. My brother thinks I was harsh, but my mom said I was right to set boundaries. Am I the asshole for leaving her stranded this time? Am I the asshole for getting fed up with my wife being indecisive when ordering off a menu? So I went to the bar and ordered something I know she liked because we were running late. So, the other night my wife and I went out to dinner, but we were already running short on time to get to the theater, in no small part because she took forever to get ready and we were late for the taxi. We get to the bar for dinner about an hour before the show is due to start and I'm getting nervous about time. Knowing food takes a while to cook. The serving girl brings us the menus and as per usual my wife takes a day and an age to pour through every single item on the menu. This isn't a new situation, she takes forever to decide what to order every time we go out. She'll look at the menu, ask me what I'm getting, say she's unsure, and just keep going back and forth. This time was no different. We sat there for a good 15 minutes, and she still hadn't decided, and we were on a tight schedule because the play we were going to see was going to start in less than an hour. I was getting anxious because our tickets were non-refundable. It was getting to less than 50 minutes left before the play started and I was starting to worry whether the food would even come out on time at this point, so I decided to take matters into my own hands. I went to the bar and ordered food for both of us. I got her something she's ordered multiple times and knows she loves. I figured it would save us both time and stress. We booked these tickets almost a year in advance and the show was popular, so I knew there would be no reasonable way to see the show some other way if we missed our slot. When I came back and told her I ordered, she flipped out. She said I was being controlling and took away her choice. I reminded her we were running late, like really late, and I ordered something I know she likes. It's not like I picked something random, just trying to move things along so we could make it to our next plans without rushing. She sulked through the meal and barely talked to me afterward. I get that maybe she wanted more time, but honestly, it's not like we had all night to sit and wait. I wanted to remind her we would have had more time if she'd been a bit faster getting ready earlier so we could have stuck to our schedule but thought better of it. Now she's acting like I did something horrible. Am I the asshole for stepping in and ordering when she couldn't make up her mind, especially since we were short on time? I tried to be reasonable at multiple points despite the time pressure situation being largely of her own creation, but sometimes I feel part of being in a marriage team is hurrying my wife through her indecisiveness so she won't miss important commitments.